Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Vasily Lomachenko, in my opinion, Bob Arum has put him back on the path to undisputed. And I truly believe that. Now, for those of you who are saying, well, why are you saying that, Hood Champion? Well, I'm saying that because when he was at featherweight, he just was too strong, too powerful for those guys. And he wasn't able to get the fights he wanted. When he went to super featherweight, he was too strong, too powerful, too fast, too skilled. It just couldn't get the fights he wanted. So you look at what he ended up doing there at lightweight and bubbling up, 3 weight divisions just so he can get an opportunity at big fights, bigger money, and possibly undisputed. You can see that in his last fight against Devin Haney. I'm going to tell you what, there are some people who are saying that is one of the biggest robberies in the history of boxing. Now, I don't necessarily feel that decision to Haney was a robbery. After watching that fight again, I don't really think it's controversial. Now, when I first watched it, I did. But after I went back and watched it, I even did a video where I scored it minute by minute. I'm going to tell you right now, man, that undisputed lightweight championship that he and Haney were fighting for, Lomachenko just didn't do enough to win. And when you look at him being 35, about to be 36, in the locker room with tears in his eyes, crying and stuff like that, obviously, he had different plans, and his camp had planned on appealing. But, if he's real with himself, it's just like when De La Hoya got knocked out the ring by Joe Smith. He didn't slip. Same thing with Lomachenko. You didn't get robbed. Champ, you didn't let your hands go enough. Okay? But now he has an opportunity, man, to come back and possibly make some noise in the lightweight division again. Now you see Devin Haney has gone on and he's dropped, the remaining belts. So now when you take a look at what's going on out there in the lightweight division, the WBO is vacant, the IBF is vacant, and the WBA Super Lightweight Championship is vacant. More than likely in the WBA, and let me show you guys this. So more than likely in the WBA, Gervonta Davis will be elevated to Super Champion. Shakur Stevenson's already the WBC. The IBF and the WBO, someone's going to have to fight for that. Now, my understanding is for the IBF is Kambosos and Lomachenko are going to be scrapping for that, which Lomachenko should get the win. And I think it's May of next year. March or May. I think it's May. So Lomachenko will become champion again. I just don't think Kambosos will beat him. And as far as Gervonta Davis in that WBA, he already said he doesn't want it. So that WBA is going to be vacant. So you could see, Pitbull Cruz and Zepeda getting in the ring. And then for the WBA, I'm not really sure how that's going to work. But what I can see happening is after Lomachenko picks up that IBF, that he goes right into an immediate unification bout with someone who has a strap. Shakur Stevenson, look, I don't know. But when I look at what's out there, I think Lomachenko, has a good chance to beat Kambosos, pick up the IBF, go over there, and whether it's Baranchek or just depends on who he fights from the WBO, look, you got a good chance of winning that fight. And then for the WBA, if it depends on who ends up winning that, I think Lomachenko will be in a competitive fight. The thing is this, right? I'm not at all saying Lomachenko beats Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis just doesn't seem interested in picking up any more belts. I'm not saying he's going to go in there and blast out Zepeda. What I am saying is for the guys who are going to end up with those titles, I think Lomachenko, if he can, increase his punch output and look phenomenal in the early rounds like he does in the later rounds, he already has the judges on his side, got the secret society and Bob Arum there, and who knows what else is going on with the corruption in boxing. That's going to make sure that he doesn't just become a unified again. He can go all the way and become undisputed. And when you take a look at it, out of everybody in the lightweight division, right? Because this is what we're up against right here. When I take a look at it, Frank Martin, I don't know if he's coming or going, which is unfortunate because Frank Martin can scrap, man. I don't know why people, bad talk Frank Martin, man. Frank Martin gets busy. But when you look at Frank Martin, we don't know if he's coming or going, but I think Frank Martin will be a tough fight for anybody. I'm not sure he's going to get an opportunity at any belts. Zepeda can fight. Kambosos, we already see that he and Lomachenko are going to be getting busy. Davis, he doesn't want anything to do with unifications and titles. He's just all about picking whatever fighter he can get his hands on and making the most money, which I don't disagree with. Garcia's not even in the picture. Stevenson, after his last fight, I don't see how anybody would think he would just get in there and just dominate Lomachenko, who uses those angles and superior hand speed and footwork to confuse anyone. I think Stevenson could feel a bit overwhelmed. In addition to that, I feel Stevenson, after his last performance, may get in the ring if he was to get an opportunity to fight Lomachenko in his next fight, which I don't think that will happen because Lomachenko is fighting Kambosos. But if he gets an opportunity to fight him next year, I think Stevenson may get in there trying to put on a performance to top what Haney did against Lomachenko, and I think that could work against Stevenson because Lomachenko can fight. And he obviously has some pop, but he doesn't carry the same pop that he carried when he was in the lower weight divisions. It just happens as you guys move up. Pitbull Cruz is a problem for anyone. He's a pressure fighter, and he's going to be coming at Lomachenko. Lomachenko can move. Lomachenko has angles, but Lomachenko is not a spring chicken anymore. So Cruz would be hard for me to go against that, but if Lomachenko can box him and use the angles, I think he frustrates Cruz and makes the fight very interesting. But that being said, when you take a look at what's really out there for Lomachenko, if Lomachenko still has, half of what he once possessed, he could get pretty damn close to becoming undisputed, especially if you start looking at these guys. Stevenson could easily go up to 140, but 135 may be the sweet spot because it doesn't seem like his power is really carried up. Frank Martin, there's no fat on him, so he could easily go to 140. Zepeda, Hughes, Murataya, these guys could easily bubble up to 140. Will they? I don't know. But I tell you what, their bodies may volunteer them to go to 140 because their bodies just may not cooperate with them when it comes to cutting down to 135 anymore. So there's a lot of unknowns at 135. One thing we do know that's a fact is Devin Haney is out of here. Ryan Garcia is out of here. Teofimo Lopez is out of here. Those were the real threats, in my opinion, for Lomachenko. Tank Davis is the biggest threat, but again, I don't think Tank Davis is worried about fighting and worried about fighting anybody for no damn titles. Tank Davis is just out here looking to land big names for the most money. Tank Davis is the guy who's looking to play Frogger out here, and he's just kind of jumping, bouncing around, and just dodging titles. But wherever he lands, whatever lily pad he lands on, that's the jackpot. That's what Tank Davis is doing. He's out here playing Frogger. He's dodging them titles, which are the cars. Basically, he don't want to get ran over by a title, and he's landing on those jackpot lily pads to get paid. So for me, Lomachenko, I think he has all the opportunity to get back on the path to being undisputed. But again, he's not getting any younger. You look at Lomachenko, man. Some people forget Lomachenko. This man didn't turn pro till he was like damn near 30 or something like that. He fought all them years as an amateur. And this is the thing that I'm going to say this. Some people agree with me, some people don't. Some people don't. I blame his dad, for keeping him as an amateur so long. Just imagine this man fighting in the Olympics and all this amateur program, right? 28, 26, 25, 27. You understand? All these years, man, 23, 24, 25, 26. He's a grown man. You look at some of these guys who are professional fighters at titles at 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Those are the years where he's out there kicking everybody's ass in the Olympics and winning 2 gold medals when he should have been fighting as a pro. Those were some of his best years that were gone because his father kept him as an amateur too long just to go pick up them gold medals. Now he's out here, and that's why they've been fast-tracking him, putting him in there with, championship level fights. Back to back to back to back to back to back. And don't get me wrong, he handled his business. He can handle himself. But when people look at it and say, damn, when you look at Lomachenko, 17 fights and 3 losses, some people think that's a bad record. But look at the 17 guys he fought. Lomachenko just out here trying to get it because he know time isn't on his side. But I think if he would have turned pro earlier, I think Lomachenko would have definitely become undisputed, and he would have been able to stay in the lower weight classes longer because he was younger. His body hadn't really matured, hadn't really got beyond being down in the lower weight classes. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think people really think about that when they think about Lomachenko. You know, they forget that this man started off at 126, then had to go to 130, dominating, not killing people. Then had to bubble up to 135 just to get some opportunities. You know what I'm saying? And at 135, you see him he still can handle himself, but he's not as dominant. It's because he really doesn't belong at 135. But the way, if you watch this, how the secret society is working and how they're moving things around and the things are being timed, Lomachenko is being set up. I bet you, I'm willing to bet next year Lomachenko will have maybe 3 fights. 2 of those, the first fight will be for the title, which is fighting Lomachenko. And then one of those next 2 fights will be a unification. I'm willing to bet you money. If he fights 3 times, all 3 may be. But if these sanctioning bodies do what they're supposed to, enforce mandatories, he may not have that luxury. But if they don't, that just lets you know the secret society, man, they're out here doing their magic with the key decision makers, Bob Arum. And then that fly on the wall sitting there who won't talk and let us know the real deal. And that's what we can see happen. Because he doesn't have time on his side. He doesn't. And I'm not going to say it sucks for him because that Devin Haney fight, he lost that fight. But I know some people don't agree with that. But do I think he landed harder shots? Yeah, he landed the more eye-catching shots. And sometimes, some people feel one hard punch, that wins the round. It's about who does the most damage, not the guy who's in there coochie-cooing you the whole round, you know what I'm saying, and having a tickling contest with you in the ring. No, they want a guy who's in there inflicting the most damage. So if you're out there coochie-cooing the guy the whole round, man, and you kind of have his face blushed up, man, and he's swelling a little bit, and then, the last second around, he hits you with that guzza, ratatatata, that kibosh, and you there, dancing salsa in the ring, your equilibrium off. Some people feel the person threw one shot, but that one shot did more damage than you coochie-cooing the opponent the whole 2 minutes and 59 seconds. And that's what sucks about the sport of boxing is it's so subjective. So that's why for me, I would never tell someone, it takes a lot for me to be able to say you're wrong because I'm not entitled to my own facts, but we're entitled to our own opinions. But I will say I don't agree. But the bottom line is there's no explicit guidance. There's guidance to kind of guide, but I mean there's nothing that says if a person does this they win the round. Like you can't just follow that. It's still a matter of opinion. You know what I'm saying? And they can't do that. It's impossible. That's like trying to balance morale with the mission. You know what I mean? It's either you go all morale, you go all mission. When you start fumbling around trying to figure out how to balance that, you go crazy. And the same thing with these fights. Trying to strike a balance on, hey, who do I side with the guy who didn't really get hit much? He outboxed the other guy, but the other guy landed, the harder 5 hard shots, one buckled the guy's knees, but for the most part, the other guy won the majority of the round. See, you start splitting your hairs. It's hard. So I can't poke anyone in the eye if they feel Lomachenko beat Devin Haney. But what I can do is open your eyes to what's coming up next year for Lomachenko. And I really think Top Rank, they have a lot of fighters at 135, and I think they're gonna look at, in my opinion, trying to set Lomachenko up for Undisputed because the way they see Shakir Stevenson, they're paying him good money, but Shakir may bounce next year from top rank too. Remember that. And if he goes, Shakir Stevenson's in the breeze. There's no one going to be there to try to help him the way Bob Arum is trying to guide him and Top Rank's trying to guide him. And then what do they have left? It's Lomachenko. Lomachenko is their guy. Kambosos is cool, but Lomachenko is their guy. I seen Bob Arum kiss Lomachenko. He loved that dude like it's his grandson. So, when the old man puts the old soup coolers on you, it's kind of weird. But when the old man Bob puts the super coolers on you, then that tells me he wants you to win. And I think that's what we're going to see happening with Lomachenko. I give it 2 years, and Lomachenko will be undisputed unless he just gets in the ring and takes it to the stupid. But if he gets in there and can get to the finish line, those judges are going to make sure he gets that win. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.